You wake up with that insatiable thirst, you drink water, but your mouth stays dry, like you spent the night in the desert. You head to the bathroom for the third time before even having breakfast and realize this has become routine, that waking up in the middle of the night to pee is now part of your life. When you finally sit down for coffee, you look at the food and feel that never-ending tiredness, that fatigue that's always there, weighing on your shoulders, stealing your energy before the day even begins. And then comes that thought you try to push away but always returns. Am I really controlling my diabetes? Or is it controlling me? You're doing everything right, taking your meds on time, avoiding sugar, checking your blood sugar, but something's wrong because the symptoms keep showing up. Your vision gets blurry sometimes. Your feet tingle at night. Wounds take longer to heal. The truth almost no one tells you is that there's a silent error, something you do every day without realizing it, that's completely sabotaging your blood sugar control and making your diabetes worse without you even suspecting. If you've made it this far, it's because you're exhausted from living on this blood sugar roller coaster, from waking up with high blood sugar even after doing everything right the day before, from feeling like you're slowly losing control. And I completely understand because I spent years studying this silent mechanism that destroys diabetes control. That's why I created this channel, to bring you real protocols based on solid science that you can start applying today and see results in days. Every week, I bring practical content on blood sugar control, reversing insulin resistance, and strategies that really work for people with type 2 diabetes. If you want to be part of this community of people who are regaining control of their blood sugar and getting their quality of life back, subscribe to the channel now. You deserve access to information that goes beyond what traditional doctors' offices offer. Let's go on this journey of transformation together. Over 13 million Americans are living with diabetes right now, and 90% of them are making the same mistake I'm about to reveal here. This mistake is raising your blood sugar by up to 40% without you realizing it, accelerating diabetes complications, and could be leading you straight to insulin even though you're doing everything your doctor told you to. I'm going to show you exactly what's happening in your body right now. I'm going to reveal a complete ranking of the 8 things that silently worsen diabetes, from the least dangerous to the most devastating. And at the end, you'll discover the number one mistake that's destroying your blood sugar control, the one that acts so subtly that even doctors rarely mention it during appointments. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to discover in the next few minutes will completely change how you view diabetes management. Let me explain what's happening inside your body at this exact moment. When you have type 2 diabetes, your cells stop responding correctly to insulin. It's like the key no longer fits the lock, and glucose circulates in your blood without being able to enter cells to become energy. Your pancreas tries to compensate by producing more and more insulin, sometimes 5 to 10 times more than a healthy person, until one day it simply can't keep up and starts to fail. With each passing year of poorly controlled diabetes, you lose about 4 or 5% of your pancreas's ability to produce insulin. It's a progressive and silent decline. Meanwhile, the excess glucose in your blood is causing a chronic low-grade inflammation that damages your blood vessels millimeter by millimeter, affects your nerves, especially in your extremities, overloads your kidneys that have to filter all this extra sugar, and slowly impairs your vision because the retina is extremely sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations. The problem is that conventional medicine focuses almost exclusively on controlling blood sugar with medication, but rarely investigates and corrects the hidden triggers that are keeping you in this vicious cycle of insulin resistance. There are over 2 zero clinical studies published in the last 10 years showing that type 2 diabetes is not a definitive sentence, that it's possible to reverse insulin resistance and regain cellular sensitivity when you remove the factors blocking this process. But here's what almost no one tells you. Medications alone will never solve the root problem. They only control symptoms while the disease continues to progress under the surface. Now I'm going to reveal the complete ranking of the 8 things that are worsening your diabetes without you realizing it, from the least severe to the most devastating. Number 8, unmanaged chronic stress. Did you know that when you're stressed, anxious, or worried, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline that trigger glucose production in the liver, even if you haven't eaten anything? That's why many people wake up with high blood sugar even after an early, light dinner. A study published in Diabetes Care showed that people with elevated cortisol levels have a 37% greater difficulty controlling their blood sugar compared to those with normal levels. The mechanism is simple. Cortisol signals to your body that you're in danger, so it releases glucose to give you energy to run or fight. Except that you're not running from anything. The glucose circulates in your blood and worsens insulin resistance. The bigger problem is that chronic stress also increases cravings for refined carbohydrates and sweets because the brain seeks quick rewards through food. The solution isn't complicated. Simple diaphragmatic breathing techniques for 10 minutes a day can reduce cortisol by up to 25%. Light walks outdoors reduce anxiety and improve insulin sensitivity. And getting at least 7 hours of sleep per night is fundamental because sleep deprivation spikes cortisol. I give chronic stress a rating of 3 because, while it's an important factor, it alone doesn't explain why so many people who sleep well and are calm still have uncontrolled diabetes. Number 7, excessive consumption of artificial sweeteners. Many people with diabetes think they're making the right choice by swapping sugar for artificial sweeteners. But recent science reveals a disturbing truth. A 2022 Nature study with over 400 participants showed that sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame, and saccharin negatively alter gut microbiota in just 2 weeks of regular use. This alteration causes a 15-20% increase in insulin resistance, even without consuming a single gram of sugar. The mechanism is both fascinating and frightening. Sweeteners kill off the good gut bacteria that produce anti-inflammatory substances and help with glycemic control, while promoting the growth of bad bacteria that increase inflammation and worsen insulin sensitivity. Furthermore, the sweet taste on the tongue, even without calories, activates neural pathways that prepare the pancreas to release insulin, creating unnecessary insulin spikes throughout the day. The problem gets worse when you consider that many diet drinks and zero sugar products contain multiple types of sweeteners combined, amplifying these negative effects. The recommendation is simple. If you absolutely must sweeten something, use pure stevia without additives or erythritol in minimal amounts. But the ideal scenario is to retrain your palate to accept less sweet flavors. I give artificial sweeteners a rating of 4 because they clearly hinder glycemic control, but they're not the absolute worst villain in this story. Number 6, severe magnesium deficiency. This is one of the most overlooked factors in diabetes management and could be silently destroying your metabolic health. Studies show that up to 70% of people with type 2 diabetes have inadequate magnesium levels. This creates a terrible vicious cycle because magnesium is essential for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including those that regulate glucose and insulin. Research published in the Journal of Internal Medicine demonstrated that individuals with low magnesium levels are 22 times more likely to develop severe insulin resistance compared to those with adequate levels. Magnesium acts like a key that unlocks insulin receptors on cells, allowing glucose to enter. When magnesium is lacking, these receptors become partially blocked, and insulin can't do its job properly. Additionally, magnesium deficiency increases chronic inflammation, impairs blood vessel function, raises blood pressure, and increases the risk of cardiac arrhythmias. The issue is that common blood tests often don't detect this deficiency because they only measure serum magnesium, which represents less than 1% of the body's total magnesium. So you could be severely deficient, and the tests could still show normal values. The best way to correct this is through supplementation with chelated or glycinate magnesium, 400-500 milliliters per day taken before bed, and also by consuming magnesium-rich foods like nuts, pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, and avocados. I give magnesium deficiency a rating of 5 because it's extremely common and has a direct impact on glycemic control, but there's still something worse. Number 5, sedentarism and lack of movement throughout the day. You might hit the gym 3 times a week, but if you spend the rest of your day glued to the couch or your office chair, your glucose metabolism is being destroyed hour after hour. An impressive study published in Diabetologia followed over 5 0-hour people with diabetes and found that sitting for more than 8 hours a day increases the risk of cardiovascular death by 112%, even for those who exercise regularly. What happens is that when you remain still for extended periods, your muscles enter a state of metabolic dormancy. They stop efficiently taking up glucose, and insulin sensitivity plummets within hours. Every hour spent sitting uninterrupted reduces your muscles' capacity to absorb glucose by 8%. So, if you sit for 6 consecutive hours, your insulin sensitivity is nearly 50% lower at that moment. The solution isn't complicated and doesn't require a gym. You just need to get up every 30 minutes and do 2-3 minutes of light movement. It could be a walk to the restroom, going up and down a few stairs, doing some bodyweight squats, anything that activates your leg muscles. Studies show that this simple interruption every half hour reduces post-meal glucose spikes by up to 30% and dramatically improves overall daily control. Walking for just 15 minutes after main meals reduces postprandial glycemia by 20 to 25%, making it more effective than many medications. The problem is that people think they need an hour of intense exercise when, in reality, constant movement throughout the day is far more important for glycemic control. I give sedentarism a rating of 6 because it has a devastating impact and is completely reversible with simple habit changes. Before I reveal the top 3 worst things destroying your diabetes control, I want to pause and ask you a direct question. What symptom bothers you the most about diabetes? Is it that constant thirst that never goes away? Is it the extreme fatigue that robs you of energy every single day? Or is it that silent fear of heading towards irreversible complications? I know you've been dealing with this alone for a long time, that you've tried everything, and sometimes it feels like nothing truly works. Leave a comment below telling me which symptom affects you the most in your daily life. You can write it like this: "The worst for me is," followed by your experience. When you share this, you're helping thousands of people who read the comments and finally feel understood, realizing they're not alone in this battle. Your voice matters. It might be exactly what someone needs to hear today to keep going. Now, let's continue, because the next 3 revelations will completely change your understanding of diabetes. Number 4, consumption of refined vegetable oils and trans fats. This is one of the most insidious villains for blood sugar control, and hardly anyone talks about it. Soybean, canola, corn, and sunflower oils, found in practically all processed foods, snacks, cookies, ready-made sauces, and restaurant fried foods, cause such severe cellular inflammation that they block insulin receptors in cells. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed 3,000 people for 8 years and found that those who consumed more refined vegetable oils had a 63% greater progression of diabetes and 41% more cardiovascular complications compared to those who avoided these oils. The problem lies in the extremely high concentration of pro-inflammatory omega-6 and the refining process, which involves high temperatures and chemical solvents, creating toxic compounds called aldehydes that damage cell membranes. When cell membranes are inflamed and damaged, insulin cannot bind properly to receptors, and glucose gets trapped in the blood. Furthermore, these oils easily oxidize within the body, generating free radicals that accelerate cellular aging and drastically increase the risk of heart disease, which is already the leading cause of death for diabetics. The solution is clear: completely eliminate refined vegetable oils from your diet and replace them with natural fats like extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, ghee, good quality lard, or avocado fat. Cook at home whenever possible, because restaurants use these cheap oils in everything. Read labels obsessively, because these oils are hidden in products you wouldn't even imagine. I give refined vegetable oils a score of 7 because they cause deep systemic inflammation that progressively and silently destroys insulin sensitivity. Number 3, irregular mealtimes and long periods without eating. Many people with diabetes skip breakfast, eat at completely different times every day, go 6 to 8 hours without eating during the day, and then overeat at dinner, and this is causing metabolic chaos. Your body has an internal biological clock called the circadian rhythm that regulates hormone production, including insulin, and when you eat at erratic times, this clock collapses. Research from Cell Metabolism has shown that people who eat at the same times every day have 28% better glycemic control and 34% more insulin sensitivity compared to those with irregular schedules, even when eating the exact same foods. What happens is fascinating. When you eat at the same time for a few days in a row, your body starts anticipating the meal and prepares digestive enzymes. Insulin receptors become more sensitive, and your metabolism speeds up at that specific time of day. On the other hand, going many hours without eating triggers cortisol, which releases glucose from the liver and worsens insulin resistance. And when you finally eat after a prolonged fast without adequate preparation, your body tends to store more as fat because it has entered energy conservation mode. The science-based recommendation is to have 3 main meals at fixed times, with a maximum variation of 1 hour spaced 4 to 5 hours apart. If you need a snack, have something small and rich in protein or good fats. Breakfast between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., lunch between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m., dinner between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. This pattern completely optimizes your insulin response and improves glycemic control within weeks. I give irregular mealtimes a score of 8 because they profoundly disrupt hormonal metabolism, but they are still not the most serious mistake. Number 2, consuming carbohydrates, even whole ones, without protein or fat. This is a mistake that even nutritionists make, and that is sabotaging the control of millions of diabetics. When you eat whole wheat bread, tapioca, sweet potato, brown rice, oatmeal, any carbohydrate source alone without combining it with quality protein or good fat, your blood sugar spikes violently because there's nothing to slow down absorption. A study in the Journal of Nutrition compared the glycemic response of people eating 50 grams of pure carbohydrate versus 50 grams of carbohydrate with 20 grams of protein and 10 grams of fat, and the difference was shocking. In the group that ate pure carbohydrate, blood sugar rose an average of 89 points in 45 minutes, while in the group that ate it combined, the rise was only 34 points and much more gradual. This happens because protein and fat delay gastric emptying, meaning the food stays in the stomach longer, being released gradually into the intestine, which leads to slow and controlled glucose absorption. Additionally, protein stimulates the release of GLP-1, a hormone that increases insulin sensitivity and reduces appetite, while fat activates satiety hormones that prevent you from overeating at your next meal. The classic mistake is having breakfast with just tapioca and coffee, or eating a fruit alone as a snack, or having dinner with only rice and beans without a good source of protein. The golden rule you need to remember is to never eat isolated carbohydrates. Always combine them with at least 20 to 30 grams of protein like eggs, meat, chicken, fish, cheese, or 1 tablespoon of good fat like olive oil, avocado, or nuts. This simple change can reduce your blood sugar spikes by 50% to 60% immediately. I give eating carbohydrates without protein or fat a score of 9 because it generates violent blood sugar spikes that, over months and years, completely destroy insulin sensitivity. And now it's time to reveal mistake number 1, the most devastating one, the root cause of blood sugar chaos for 9 out of 10 diabetics, something that almost no doctor investigates or corrects. Number 1, poor quality sleep and chronic deprivation of deep sleep. You might be sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, but if that sleep isn't deep and restorative, your glucose metabolism is being wrecked every single night. A monumental study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine took healthy individuals and restricted their deep sleep to just 4 hours a night for 6 days, without changing anything about their diet or exercise. The results were alarming. In just 6 days, insulin sensitivity dropped by 25%, and fasting blood sugar levels climbed to pre-diabetic ranges. When this was reversed, and they returned to sleeping well, everything normalized in 3 days. This proves that poor quality sleep is one of the most powerful factors in insulin resistance. The mechanism is complex but fascinating. During deep sleep, the body performs a profound metabolic cleanse, removes toxins from the brain, balances hormones like cortisol, leptin, and ghrelin that control hunger and satiety, and restores the sensitivity of insulin receptors in all cells. When you don't get enough deep sleep, you accumulate metabolic stress, cortisol levels remain chronically elevated, growth hormone production, which helps burn fat, plummets, and you wake up with high blood sugar and cravings for carbs all day because your brain is in survival mode, seeking quick energy. Studies show that a single night of bad sleep increases insulin resistance by 30% the next day. Imagine this happening every night for months or years. People with diabetes who sleep less than 6 hours or have fragmented sleep with multiple nighttime awakenings have a 48% greater progression of the disease and a 71% higher risk of developing cardiovascular complications within 5 years. The solution requires a complete protocol. First, establish a fixed schedule for sleeping and waking, even on weekends, because the body needs routine to regulate sleep hormones. Second, turn off all screens 2 hours before bed because blue light blocks melatonin production, the hormone that induces deep sleep. Third, make the bedroom completely dark using blackout curtains or a sleep mask because even a charger's LED can interfere. Fourth, keep the bedroom temperature between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit because the body needs to cool down to enter deep sleep. Fifth, avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. and alcohol at night, as both fragment sleep. Sixth, consider supplementing with 300 to 400 milliliters of magnesium glycinate an hour before bed, which dramatically improves deep sleep quality. Seventh, practice the 4 to 7-8 breathing technique in bed. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8, repeat 8 times. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system and induces deep relaxation. You can purchase quality magnesium at compounding pharmacies or supplement stores for about $10 to $15 per month. Some mild side effects include looser stools in the first few days, which is completely harmless. Individuals with severe kidney failure should consult a doctor first. I give poor quality sleep a perfect 10 because it's the foundation of all hormonal and glycemic metabolism. Without deep sleep, no other strategy works fully. Now, I'm going to give you the complete implementation protocol that combines the best strategies from this ranking. First step, prioritize sleep above all else. Use the protocol I just described. And in 7 days, you'll already notice an improvement in fasting blood sugar. Second step, completely eliminate refined vegetable oils from your home and replace them with extra virgin olive oil and coconut oil. This removes cellular inflammation that blocks insulin. Third step, never eat carbs alone again. Always combine them with 20 to 30 grams of protein or 1 tablespoon of healthy fat. This completely smooths out blood sugar spikes. Fourth step, establish fixed times for your 3 main meals and stick to those times every day. In 2 weeks, your metabolism will be synchronized. Fifth step, get up every 30 minutes during the day for 2 minutes of movement and walk for 15 minutes after lunch and dinner. Sixth step, supplement with 400 milliliters of magnesium glycinate before bed. The total monthly cost of this protocol is approximately $25 to $40 with quality supplements and foods. Compare that to the cost of stronger medications, hospitalizations for complications, treatments for neuropathy, kidney problems, or heart issues, which can cost tens of thousands. You'll start seeing results in blood sugar in 3 to 7 days, a significant improvement in energy in 2 weeks, reduction in symptoms like thirst and fatigue in 1 month, and a measurable reversal of insulin resistance in 2 to 3 months of consistent protocol. Now let me show you the 5 critical mistakes that can nullify all these results. Mistake number 1, taking magnesium along with diabetes medications without adjusting doses. Magnesium increases insulin sensitivity, so if you're taking metformin or other glucose-lowering drugs and add magnesium without monitoring, you could experience hypoglycemia. Always monitor your blood sugar closely in the first few weeks and consult your doctor to adjust medication doses as needed. Mistake number 2, thinking you can sleep poorly during the week and catch up on the weekend. It doesn't work that way. The metabolic damage is cumulative, and 2 days of good sleep won't reverse 5 days of bad sleep. Mistake number 3, using artificial sweeteners, thinking you're making a healthy choice. As we've seen, they worsen insulin resistance, so eliminate them completely. Mistake number 4, sitting for hours on end, even if you exercise at other times of the day. Prolonged sedentary behavior destroys insulin sensitivity in real time. You need movement distributed throughout the day. Mistake number 5, expecting results in 2 or 3 days and giving up when you don't see immediate change. Reversing insulin resistance is a process of weeks and months. You need consistency. Never stop or change prescribed medications without medical guidance. This protocol should be followed alongside professional supervision. Listen to what I'm about to tell you and pay close attention. Your body doesn't want to have diabetes. It wants to heal. It has all the cellular machinery it needs to function perfectly. You just need to remove the obstacles that are blocking this natural process. The narrative that diabetes is progressive and inevitable is a lie. Thousands of people reverse insulin resistance every year when they follow the right protocols. Our grandparents and great-grandparents didn't have a diabetes epidemic like we do today, not because their genetics changed in 50 years, but because they didn't consume industrialized refined vegetable oils, they weren't sitting for 12 hours a day, they didn't have blue light disrupting their sleep, and they weren't constantly eating isolated carbohydrates. You have all the power and responsibility in your hands to change this story. I want to challenge you to follow this protocol for exactly 30 days. Measure your fasting blood glucose on day 1 and day 30. Take photos of your face and body. Note down how you're feeling. Document this journey because the results will surprise and motivate you to continue. The science behind everything I've shown you here is solid. It's decades of research published in the most respected medical journals in the world. This isn't guesswork or an empty promise. You deserve to have a good quality of life, energy, and real control over your health. Start today, not tomorrow, not next Monday. Start today by implementing at least 2 or 3 of these strategies. If this video brought clarity and hope to you, please like it so that more people with diabetes can find this information. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now because every week I bring you practical, science-based protocols to help you reclaim your health. Leave your comments below about your journey with diabetes. Your story might be exactly what someone needs to read to not give up. Let's go through this transformation together.